Well, Ulises, Tropicana Field was in use over the weekend, not for baseball, but another purpose.
This is how slow the offseason is going, folks. We're talking Rays Rumble starting right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first to listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on all the other traditional podcasting platforms at Locked On Rays. Email us anytime. We love the mailbag questions. LockedOnRays@gmail.com. Well, Tropicana Field was in use this weekend for, if you're a wrestling fan, the Royal Rumble. And evidently there's a lot of wrestling fans out there because there was an announced 48,044 at the Trop on Saturday. And that number surpassed the 47,150 who attended a New Kids on the Block concert in 1990. This on the same day that Gasparilla was afoot. So, St. Petersburg can still draw people and draw a crowd on a busy Saturday. And this just got me thinking that, and just reiterating the idea that the Rays' new ballpark, whatever it's going to be named, whatever it's going to be called, needs to be enclosed or retractable or covered to handle all conditions year-round, whether it's heat, rain, cold, storms, whatever it may be, because this is where you, the Rays, and St. Petersburg and the county can really drum up some economic interest. It's not just baseball, 81 home games, and some playoff games, and a spring training date here and there. It is events like these, events like wrestling and other festivals and conferences and concerts and other sporting events. You can have a football game in the Tropicana Field, believe it or not. You can have a lot of things in Tropicana Field. So it just got me thinking that, again, it's not just going to be a baseball facility. It's going to be a multi-use facility at the end of the day. So it was cool to see that, hey, there was such a huge crowd, and on Gasparilla Day, no less. And I do have a Rays-related twist on Royal Rumble and wrestling for you, Ulises, but didn't know if you wanted to comment or react to anything I just said as far as the crowd and the showing that was. We do know that Florida, Tampa Bay area is a big wrestling hotbed as well.
My first question, maybe a rhetorical one, is wrestling the guy version of reality TV show?
It could be, although there's also a lot of women, a lot of females that are into wrestling. And that's something that they've kind of leaned into with their women's division. I honestly have not paid that much close attention to wrestling.
I know. Look, if you put my knowledge of wrestling next to my knowledge of NFL, I will look like an NFL connoisseur. Okay, I will look like the guy that knows what a safety blitz is. All right, a pick six. You know, I'll start throwing terms like that. I know nothing about wrestling, but hey, look.
And you know what? That doesn't matter, because whatever event brings heads and beds to hotel rooms and restaurants and other venues in the St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area, that's all they care about. If you want to have a flat earth convention at the Trop, go for it.
You know,
as long as it fills our hotel rooms and gets that bed tax base going.
I will tell you, I was in St. Pete on Saturday night, and it was rough getting out of there. Like, it was rough. And I was not there for the Royal Rumble, but it was rough. So I could feel like, you know, the 48,000 people, that definitely did something. And of course, you put 48,000, or you mentioned a little bit of like something attendance next to the Trop, so the tweets are gonna run wild. And I saw so many saying kind of like, "Oh well, how can you say that Tampa or Tampa Bay is a baseball community when wrestling gets 48,000?" It's like you can't do something that's like an event that people are traveling to.
It's like a one-off
and it's a one-off
major event. Yeah, it's not.
for
There's not 81 Royal Rumbles
right
in a single year
on a Tuesday at 6:45 p.m. Like,
right.
No, it's a Saturday evening. So when I see these tweets, I'm like, it hurts. It hurts my brain to have to read all these takes.
Yeah, no, people look at it as like a negative, but I look at it as a positive. Think about all the action and attraction that if they're doing that at the Trop, the new stadium would even be a bigger draw for these types of events and outings, if you will.
If you put something, like we've talked about, like in like the Battery in Atlanta, like something that you can also go to just for fun. Like I could have gone to the quote unquote Rays Battery on Saturday evening instead of going to like bar hopping and everywhere. Like it's just, it gives you hope. I think, at least for me, I think people took it, I think maybe negatively about the attendance, but I look at it as like hopefully a positive.
Now we're not going to spend the entire episode talking about wrestling and Royal Rumble and all that, but I do have a wrestling Rays adjacent question. The obvious is, okay, Yandy Diaz would be the best fit to be a pro wrestler, blah, blah, blah. But if not Yandy Diaz, who do you think could or would make the best wrestler, pro wrestler, in a Rays uniform? And I will just give a couple of qualities that are needed, I think, to be a solid pro wrestler. That would be a combination thereof: charisma, looks, physique, raw strength, athleticism.
I have
bundle that up. Who would be the best fit? Not Yandy Diaz. We're taking Yandy out of the equation because that's like the chalk answer.
Yeah.
Who would be the next guy that you're a professional wrestling scout and you need to hire a Rays player for the future?
I think it's a very easy answer for me. I really hope that people on the comments are throwing their name, their options. That is not Yandy Diaz. Do not say Yandy Diaz, people. Do not say Yandy Diaz.
Yeah. We cannot say Yandy Diaz because that is that's
easy.
The baseline.
I'm going with Isaac Paredes. I think this guy would be perfect for that. I mean, you're talking athleticism, check. You're talking charisma, check. You're talking body, check. And we've already seen him donning the Lucha Libre mask with Randy Rosarena.
And the You Can't See Me John Cena thing.
He's a fan already of wrestling. So I think Isaac Paredes would be probably the number one answer on the board.
Yeah, he was at the tops of my list as well, but just to rattle off, and I would really curious to see what the YouTube commenters have to say as well, but I'd also throw maybe Jose Siri in there, do some really high flying athletic moves, maybe a backflip there. We know he's got the flash. Same thing for Randy Rosarena, the charisma and the stage presence. Crazy Eyes Pete Fairbanks might not be a bad candidate, and big dude at 6'6", strong. He can do that look. And then,
he'd be good with the trash talking aspect of wrestling. I think Pete Fairbanks would really like to talk some trash.
Yeah. Well, that's another big part of it as well. You got to be okay on camera in front of a microphone and bashing somebody else verbally and physically, I guess. So thought we'd just have a little bit of fun with that. But those are some names out there that I was thinking of off the top of my head. If somebody else has another idea, let us know. Maybe back in the day, we might say Mike Zunino for his strength, just his pure strength. Because hey, there's just like with a baseball team, you need guys who can do different things and have different qualities and different aspects. And just thought that'd be a little bit of a fun thing to throw out there.
And when you want different feel, you have different taste in things, guess what? You can do that with Factor Meals. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Perhaps one of your New Year's resolution was to eat a little bit healthy. Well, guess what? You can do that with Factor Meals because it takes out the whole grocery store, the prep work, the cooking fatigue. Instead, you'll get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. And guess what? After they're delivered, you can just put them in the microwave for 2 minutes, and then you get delicious food in your belly. So today, don't miss out on this great deal that we have. Factormeals.com/LockedOnMLB50. That's 50. And you get, guess what? 50% off Factor Meals. That is an amazing deal. I've had these Factor Meals, and they are delicious, and it's so easy to just pop them in the microwave for 2 minutes, and then you're done, and you're eating something healthy, something delicious, and you didn't have to, wash any dishes or chop any veggies. It's perfect. So today, go to factormeals.com/LockedOnMLB50. That's 50, and you get 50% off today. Go to factormeals.com.
All right, Ulises, something that we haven't done, but we're going to try to do a little bit more of is actually reading and responding, reacting to some YouTube posts and comments from listeners out there because they take the time to respond to one of our episodes. We want to address some of them every now and again. And we got a couple neat comments here that we'll get to. Just first want to mention this, going back to the Royal Rumble wrestling thing. I really hope, and I didn't hear about it, so I'm assuming it didn't happen, that there was at least maybe some sort of work-in or tie-in to a Randy Rosarena or an Isaac Paredes of like inviting them or acknowledging them in some shape, form, or fashion, I would think.
I didn't hear it. I think that would have been really, really smart to have done that, but I didn't hear anything about it.
I know it is relatively typical that when there's a big event, and I guarantee there's some pro athletes that were in attendance and some ball players that were in attendance to that thing, but they at least, acknowledge them or say, hey, look who's in attendance. If not, inviting them to the ring for some purpose.
Yeah, I mean something. Let's get ready to rumble, or whatever the heck. Yeah, that would have been cool. I haven't heard it from it, but maybe somebody that watches the show can put it down in YouTube comments. Perfect segue, by the way, on YouTube comments. We're gonna respond a couple of YouTube comments on the show. We try our best. We read them all, but we tried our best to respond to them. But it's just not a lot of time in the day to respond to all of them. But we do read them all. So we want to incorporate this into the show, your comments on the show, and then answer them. Now, the issue with this is that we need a YouTube name. Okay. Yeah. So just like we have Klosky on the Clock, we have baseball trivia, we have Name That War, Name That X-Ray, all of these segments that we've created on the show. We need your help. What should we call this section of the show when we read YouTube comments? Because it's not really a mailbag. So we need your help, people.
Is it voices from YouTube, YouTube voices? That's all I got as of right now. So we certainly need your help. So without further ado, let's pop some of them up here. If you've got it. There we go. This first one from Nick says, hey guys, what's your thoughts on Trevor Bauer signing with the Rays to try to make it back to the MLB?
Well, I know Nicholas is from France, so hi there, all the way from France. Friendly reminder, don't put the MLB. People are going to just rag on you all day long, so just MLB, take out the. Trevor Bauer. He will never pitch in a Rays uniform. I can be like you can be 100% on anything except death and taxes in life.
Yeah.
But I'm like 99.99% sure that Trevor Bauer will never wear a Rays uniform, and that does not mean that he will never make it back to MLB. I'm just saying a Rays uniform, I don't think so.
The closest thing he is getting to a Rays uniform is going out, purchasing a Rays uniform, in wearing it while he's at Driveline or doing one of his YouTube videos. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure that the Rays would have gone after or touched Trevor Bauer before his legal issues based on his, I guess, well, that too, the money thing, but also the personality quirks. I think we're starting to learn some of that with some of the issues besides the legal issues that Wander Franco was providing or being a part of, but also the clubhouse issues. And I think that's certainly something that the Rays want to steer away from, especially with all the young players and pitchers that are now part of the fold of Ryan Pepio and Shane Baz and Taj Bradley and Iwasawa even. Like, I don't think you want to do anything that disrupts that. And it should be telling that, yes, he's on his apology tour. Maybe he has turned a new leaf. He is saying all the right things. And he put up a really, really good year with the Bay Stars in 2023. He was 11-4 in 24 appearances with 160 strikeouts and a 2.59 ERA.
Yeah.
With that type of performance, you would think a team would take a chance on him. Yet, he is not signed with a major league ball club. So I think that is also very telling. And I don't think Mike Clevenger has signed with a ball club either. So
no.
I think we're starting to find out and learn more that teams are maybe taking into account the human quotient. Yeah. And as good of now there are certain things that, I mean, you got to be, if you're a really, really, really good player, it can be overlooked. But if there's something that we can say, any reason at all that we can say, no, we don't want to sign this kid, then teams might take advantage of that.
So right now, I mean, with the social media aspect of it, like now the admins would just get obliterated anytime they would name this player, so like it's just an added problem, an added wrinkle if you bring somebody with that much baggage. Guilty or not guilty, it's still baggage.
Right.
I do think Trevor Bauer will be pitching in MLB again. I don't think this year, but maybe next year. I feel like there is a time lapse where people will not forget, but not be so gung-ho, so angry about it. And so then that'll allow him to get back to MLB. Now, the talent is there. Like you said, the numbers were there in Japan. It's just the added baggage of other teams. Just they don't want to touch that. But it depends on how much money he's willing to take. I mean, if Trevor Bauer just wants to be back in MLB and he's like, yo, sign me for $3 million. I'm going to be the best $3 million pitcher that has ever pitched. Then, as a team, do you risk that? That's a question that I think 28 teams might be thinking about, and the other two that might not be thinking about is the Rays and the Cleveland Guardians, because they already know them. So they're they don't care.
And the Dodgers.
The Dodgers, you don't see him going back to, because Mookie Betts came out saying, "Oh, he's a great teammate. I really miss him," and all that. So I'm like, maybe the Dodgers would think about it. Maybe not.
Yeah, I mean that's Mookie. Mookie Betts isn't,
Friedman
turning the gears like Andrew Friedman and other guys are. So I think they would try to steer clear of him. It's funny because, I mean, we've heard about there were reports unsubstantiated and at this point not true of the Rays making a play of Yasiel Puig, but it seems pretty on brand that they try to stay away from A, expensive players, and B, controversial players in some shape or form.
If you had to put a percentage, green Skittles, on Trevor Bauer pitching in MLB this year, what would be your guess percentage-wise?
Oh, it's tough. It's like pitching in MLB or just signing with a team and seeing if he, makes it out of spring training and all that.
Let's do signing with an MLB team.
Okay. 2% this year. I'm kind of with you. I think that, look, what he's saying and doing evidently all the right things. He's grown from his mistakes in the past. He hopes for a second opportunity in MLB. But I think it's one of those things where let's go another full year without doing anything that's controversial or awkward or odd. And then let's give you a chance at that point. I mean, if I'm a team that's like totally in the gutter, like the Athletics, like, sure, let's do something to, I don't know if it'll boost ticket sales, but at least, get people talking about it. We've already had enough PR. So what's another bad PR hit? And that's the thing. I just don't think the Rays are really ready to take the PR battle.
No, they've taken
enough
this offseason of a PR hit that they're like, nah, we can't take another one. So,
and the Wander Franco is not even their fault. It's just something that they've had to deal with and encounter. Whereas if you're actively going out and signing Trevor Bauer, knowing what you know, you're going to have to handle the smoke as well, unfortunately. Like, I'd much rather, if you're talking about, we need another, veteran or another guy. I mean, heck, Corey Kluber, somebody that has a strong positive influence on the young guys.
Yes.
That we know of. That's what I would rather. That's what I would rather play off of. But good question there from Nicholas. We'll have to see. What about you? I don't know if you ever gave a percentage on Trevor Bauer landing with an MLB team this year?
I think 10%.
Okay.
10% for this year. Yeah.
So we're between 2 and 10%. So the odds aren't looking too good.
No.
If we had to say so right now. All right. We have that other comment that we need to get to. But first, you have to test. Happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. If you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seats on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some incredible bets. And FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W or 2 or 3. Not only can you bet on who will win Super Bowl 58, but FanDuel also has bets for which players will score a touchdown, how many points will be scored, and so much more. New customers join today, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. So go ahead, visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn, LOCKEDON to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn, LOCKEDON. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, getting to this second question comment from Mike on YouTube. Says, do you think the Rays were planning to trade Wander once the big salary years came? It's only $2 million a year now and ramps up to $25 million a year in a couple years.
So for those of you who don't have Wander Franco's contract committed to memory, I will tell you that in 2025, he will get 8.4, 2026, 15.4, 2027, 22.4. And then, like Mike says, from 2028 until 2032, 25.4. So, when we had this talk about his contract a long time ago in much happier manner than we're having it now, we were looking at those $25 million years and be like, oh, that's probably when they're going to trade him. That's probably a trade bait right there. But now in this lens, you can see 2027 is the year that the lease ends at Tropicana Field. That'll be the last year of Rays baseball in Tropicana Field. So that means 2028 will be the first in the new stadium. You need a franchise player with the new stadium. Like, that is just a must. You need that guy. Wander Franco is supposed to be that guy, was supposed to be that guy when you signed him up to this contract. So in 2028, he would have been earning the first year at $25 million. Now, with all the new revenue, with all the money that would be coming in from this like battery type thing that they would be doing for the new Tropicana Field, and how inflation is working. I mean, for goodness sakes, you've got Lance Lynn getting $12 million contract for a year and with a 5+ ERA. Like, I think when you have a guy that's putting up 5, 6, maybe 7 WAR seasons and you're paying him $25 million, it's more than a bargain.
Right.
So now I'm looking at it differently, saying with all the money that they were going to get and all the production that they're going to be receiving from a guy who signed until he's 31, I don't think they would have traded him.
No, I think the full intention was to have him part of the organization as you're opening and unveiling that new stadium, so that he was going to be a Ray until at least 2028 through 2028. And that's right in the prime of his career. Now, I guess a couple factors could shake that up, how all the RSNs and TV money gets situated, and whether the team is actually successful, or
Right.
are you a bad team with one expensive player, then that maybe changes the math a little bit. But I fully expect that based on the leadership in charge that they have, that they're going to be competitive. There might be a small window where they're not as competitive as other years, but when they open that new stadium, that they're going to be a winning ball club. I fully expect that. But yeah, I think that was the idea. That was the whole reason of signing him to a long-term contract, was the pomp and circumstance and the excitement factor of, we have one of the best players, if not best player in baseball, to usher in this new era at Publix Park, or, Jable Park, whatever you're going to call it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if he was going to be a Ray until, the end of that contract, or until the club option came around in 2023. But that was my line of thinking anyway.
I mean,
and now they have to change things up a little bit and figure out who's going to be that franchise player, that star player that we can, put on a billboard and that we can utilize to help sell this thing going forward. Because I don't see a whole ton of, I see candidates, but I've yet to see somebody kind of run and take that mantle. Because I don't
being a
think
7-WAR
Randy
player
is going to be. Yeah, I don't think Randy's going to be in a Rays uniform in 2028.
No, and also like you also have to be the production. Like, okay, like you can be as as fun loving as, but you can't have Ji-Man Choi be your face of the franchise, putting up 1.3 WAR, like, or Brett Phillips. Like, I mean, they're cool and everything. People love them, but like you can't have that. You have to have like a massive, really good player. And he was it. Now, are there candidates right now that could take that mantle? Of course, 100%. And everybody's right now typing Junior Caminero, of course. But it doesn't take away from the damn. That really sucks. But I don't, leave it in the comments. I want to, besides who would make a really good wrestler for the Rumble that happened last weekend. I want to kind of get the barometer of Rays fandom, at least Locked On Rays fans on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then answer this. Are you tired of the whole Wander Franco saga? Do you kind of shut everything off? Is it still something that you want to talk about, that you want to listen to, that you want to hear people discuss about? When new things pop up in the investigation, we have to talk about it. That's basically why this show is. So everything about Rays, we put it out. But I just want to get the barometer on Rays fandom. Is it just, are you tired, or do you still feed into it and you want to discuss it? Because I don't know where Rays fandom is right now, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, I can say personally that I would rather talk about on the field related happenings, which I guess it's newsworthy when he posts an Instagram video of him at a random park in the DR swinging from the right side and the left side. That makes news in headlines these days.
And they were bombs. They were bombs.
Oh, they were. So he still got it.
I mean, the lefty swing was so smooth. It was pull side, and then the righty swing was oppo. And yeah, and a lot of people were like, F this dude. So like, I just want to get the barometer. Like, where are we as a fandom? Do you just want to like not talk about it anymore, or do you still want to kind of discuss it and kind of vent, about the situation?
I'm excited to see what Jose Caballero can do. I'm excited to see Carson Williams' growth and development this year.
Like that.
I'm excited. I don't know about excited, but Taylor Walls, a healthy Taylor Walls can't hurt things. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you later on this week.